So sounds like they're trying to make another timeline or another universe and have everything tied into one. Howdy, and welcome to Ranger Reacts. In this video, we're going to be reacting to Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters from DC Studios. It's the James Gunn announcement about the upcoming DC films that will be coming out. This was mentioned to me right before our stream on Tuesday of playing the worst days over on Apon Games. You can check that out here. Right before that stream, we're talking about some of the Batman comics, some of the possible up-and-coming movies that we've heard an announcement about, but I guess it's the official announcement that has came out from DC Studios. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DC...
So is he just coming over from Marvel and just doing DC now? Or is he still doing both? Or is it just whenever he finished Guardians, that was it for him at Marvel, and then he came over to DC to do all this because they got rid of Snyder, I think. Let me know in the comments down below.
MCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms...
So it sounds like they're trying to make another timeline or another universe and have everything tied into one, where there's no longer Cavill Superman is no longer the main Superman. So I'm guessing that's like the Dark Knight version, or no, not wouldn't be the Dark Knight version of Batman, because that would have been the Christian Bale's Batman. Affleck would have been closer to the Frank Miller's Dark Knight, but I think with Robert Pattinson's, that's supposed to be closer to a year one sort of Batman. But I guess they're resetting everything again.
The 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe.
Okay. So I wonder if they're doing if they're doing that, I wonder if it's going to be Flashpoint. Or
Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first...
So I just hope they don't do what Marvel did and made it where like the TV shows matter and you have to kind of watch those to get what's going on in the next movie. Like, I enjoyed that DC didn't do that, and how they had it all separate, because the way you can explain that is it is set on a different universe, because that's how they did it with the Flash TV series on CW. They had the Arrowverse, and then they had the one connection there at the I forget which season it was, with I didn't see this episode, but I remember reading about it. I can't remember if it was the Ezra Miller's Flash or if it was Cyborg that they brought it. No, it wouldn't have been Cyborg, because they would have had Cyborg from Doom Patrol. So I just went off on a tangent. We're gonna see what else they're gonna say about this.
Chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter.
Okay.
The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos
is that one thing from the last Suicide Squad. It shows how much that one kind of stood out.
Animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is the story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time.
So I wonder if what they're doing, I mean, I can always let them continue to explain, but I'm going to speculate here before he actually says anything. For Superman Legacy, I wonder if they're going to do...
I'm doing it, and Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple.
So this is the one I've heard the most about, is that they're doing a Green Lantern Corps movie. It wasn't until yesterday when I was talking to Joshua Wise from the All Ports Open Network on trying to speculate on who the main Green Lanterns are for Earth, or for the sector that they protect. And from this image here, it looks like it's going to be Hal Jordan and John Stewart, because I was wondering if they're going to do Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, or if they were going to do one of the three in their time, or how they were going to do that. It looks like it's going to be Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
A couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective, with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU, and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost.
I mean, it goes with the way it sounds like it goes with the way of how he directs, and then the choices of characters or franchises that James Gunn has made into film, or had a film or TV adaptation made out of it. So I'd be interested in seeing how that one actually turns out. Paradise
Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU.
Okay, because I was about to ask if they're going to have like the entirety of the Bat family involved in it, or if they're going to kind of just use some of the staples from the Bat family.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series.
So I wonder if
one of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film.
Okay,
now,
so
Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins
of the
monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can...
So my question is on Swamp Thing. Are they going to bring Mark Hamill in to voice him? Because I know he voices him in the animated forms, but will Mark Hamill voice this Swamp Thing? Or will they use the actor to also voice Swamp Thing? Or the actual actor if they go through the transformation period of it, or what part of Swamp Thing's timeline that they're going to use for this. So we'll see.
Tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
So that was Chapter 1 of Gods and Monsters from DC Studio, and James Gunn update on the next 5 to 10 years from DC Studios. I'm interested to see their takes in what else comes out about these projects. Hopefully he takes a different approach to it than what he did with Marvel. It seems DC is going into a Marvel route on doing the connection of connecting everything. DC stood out where they didn't do that, but I guess because Marvel was able to Marvel capitalized on that. What projects announced in that video are you excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. And if there's any other videos you'd love to see me react to or break down, leave them there as well. And in the meantime, peace.